What's up? What's up? What's up? It's the Success Architect, your boy SB. Had to come in, man. I'm just sitting outside the studios. I'm out here on the patio. And I just really been turmoiling and trying to understand how I want to start my community. Broadcasting is something I love to do. Creating content is something that I love to do. I'm sure a lot of you are already looking at some of the things that my production company, iBlisters Digital Media Creative, is actually producing right now. We're producing the show, Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Swab, that comes on every week. It's dope. We've been having some amazing guests, and guests that look like us, that come from where we come from, ones that we can have conversations with and understand. And that's the important part for me, to be able to create a community and to be able to have a community where we can have real conversations. There's no restrictions, there's no limitations. My target and my passions lie with Black American culture. It's just facts. And like my tagline say, I've been diversified since 1973, since I was the first Black kid or the first Black boy in my class, in my elementary school class. Actually, when I first started, I was the only Black kid, the only Black boy in elementary school. Actually, it was two of us that were Black in my class for 6 years, starting from first grade through sixth grade. That was myself and my classmate named Angelique. And we went to a Catholic school. But I've been diversifying since that time. So I understand the adversities. I've never been in a comfort zone my entire life. So that's why I'm opening up this space so I can have conversations, so I can share, tell my story, listen to other stories, be able to tell your stories, to be able to expand what I'm doing on actually doing on Neighborhood Planet Network and also Neighborhood PBS by making some additional programming. So my space and what I'm creating really, I want my tribe. I'm looking for my tribe, and my tribe that I can communicate best with are the 50 plus individuals, the ones that grew up in my era, that was around when hip hop first started out, when hip hop was in its fine founding stages, when it was still seeking, when it was looked at as beats and stealing other people's music and making songs off of it. And where the awards wasn't even shown on the Grammys. I mean, they would actually tape delay the award and show it later whenever the first Grammy was given out. And if I'm not mistaken, the first Grammy was given to Will Smith. I think he was the first Grammy Award winner. If I'm not mistaken, for parents don't understand. And the reason that they took that is because the original hip hop was so much more truthful. It wasn't as quote unquote entertaining. Hip hop was founded off of telling stories about the struggle, about survival, about passing on knowledge, about passing on values, about passing on understanding and wisdom. That's what original hip hop is about. That's why, you can find me on social media as Hip Hop Authentic, because I am hip hop culture. I was a b-boy. I still am an MC. Now I'm a master of content instead of a master of ceremonies. But I had to create a space. So Sheldon TV is Sheldon Radio is for 50 pluses. Also, again, it's about advocating, educating, and elevating Black American culture. Black American culture is my love. That's my passion. So that is what I'm advocating. That's what I'm going to always push. That is my focus. It doesn't exclude anybody. It doesn't exclude anyone, because I love my culture. Don't make me hate yours. So please don't misinterpret. And I think that's where a lot of the divisiveness comes in, and a lot of the separation comes in, because someone takes your love and your passion for a certain thing and they looked at it as being offensive. Why? I can love me. I can love us. I can love ours. So I think that's important. You have your passions. You have the things that you love. So I'm just speaking to the people that understands, that actually understand, shall I say. But for me, again, I just had to come in. I had to just share with y'all and let y'all know that there's more programming coming to Neighborhood Planet Network. Sheldon TV and Sheldon Radio are going to be major components. This is my space. It's about my love, my passions. It's about lifestyles. It's about interviews. It's about featuring those who are out there doing things that are positive. And the one thing about me is that, well, I have Neighborhood Planet. I have NPNTv, but my content is going to be co-broadcast on NPNTv and Success Architect Network. I'm the Success Architect. So, I got to love me. I got to brand me. I got to invest in me, because I love me. Every morning I wake up, I look in the mirror and say, I love you, King. You deserve the world. For me and my queen. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. But the one thing that I want you guys to understand is that success is relevant. And this is my personal opinion. What I feel may be success, you might not feel that's enough to be success, or you might feel that that's overachieving, that you don't need that to be successful. So, one, success is relevant. Two, wealth and poverty is a mindset. And what I mean by that is you got to start somewhere. And that's why Sheldon TV and Success Architect and Sheldon Radio, Success Architect Network is based on four premises of meaning that you got to be healthy to be wealthy. And what I mean by that, the four healths that I work on and that I address is physical health. We got to have that. Longevity is important. Mental health, first and foremost. So let me start over. Mental health. Because in my opinion, you got to overcome it in your mind first. And this is your most powerful tool, because I feel as though this is your direct link, direct connection to the Creator. And if it's in the right place, you're going to get your blessings and your grace the way that you should. I believe that there is a greater power in the universe that I have to be accountable to. That's my belief. And I believe that your mind is the foremost part of everything as far as your journey, the success of your journey, the length of your journey, and what your rewards are at the end of that journey. So mental health is very important. I think that you have to have your mind right. You have to have your mind sharp. You got to always exercise your mind the same way you exercise your body, which is a precursor to what I want to say as far as physical health. We got to take care of ourselves. We got to take care of ourselves for ourselves as well as the ones that we love, because once we leave, we're not just hurting. We don't know. We don't know what happens after we leave here physically. So we know that there'll be, if the ones that we love and the ones that love us back are going to be extremely sad when we're not here with them physically. So we want to spend as much time as we can and be here as long as we can with the ones that we love. So physical health is extremely important. And last but not least is your spiritual health. You got to be fulfilled. You got to be happy. You got to be able to love the ones that you love and get that love back and be able to understand that. You got to be able to understand what your grace is, what your blessings are. And that comes with your spiritual health. So you got to always feed your spirit and feed your soul and exercise your heart. And I'm not talking about cardio. I'm talking about your ability to understand and be open-minded enough to have free conversations, to be accepting, to be humble, to have empathy. All of that is important. And that's what Sheldon TV is about. It's about having those conversations, telling those stories, listening to those stories, and sharing those stories. So again, health begets wealth. That's pretty smooth, ain't it? So again, it's about that health. It's about, again, physical health, spiritual health, but last but not least, your financial health. A lot of times we have our own ideas about how we should be able to sustain and prosper. It's all about having good counsel. And the book tells you about having good counsel. And there's others that know more than you, regardless of all the technology that we have and our access to that we can find and our ability to research. But nothing takes the place of real life experiences. And that's where your counsel come in, because that real life experiences take it from being data to being wisdom, takes from being research to being wisdom. Because one thing about it is that regardless of what you learn and what you read and what you study and what you can look up and research and find out about, nothing replaces actual experiences in life. There's nothing more valuable than life experiences. And I think that's where a gap is as well, because I totally understand you guys are super intelligent, these younger generations. You guys are super intelligent. I was speaking with my queen about that this morning. She was talking about a kid that she was talking to that was 5 years old and how smart she was. And I told her, now, for me, I'm taken aback when I talk to a kid and they aren't sharp, they aren't articulate, they aren't smart, they can't hold the conversation because they have access to so many tools and early in development in life, and They're super smart. They're way smarter than we were. Smarter. I'm not even ashamed to say that because facts are facts. I mean, look at the society that we dwell in now with the technology that we have. They should be much more intelligent than we are. But where they can't overcome who we are is our wisdom. We have those years of life. We have those experiences with other human beings that can't be taught or you can't look up on Google. The emotions are part of those different experiences cannot be replaced because emotions is a huge part of decision making, regardless. I mean, being on the computer, doing your research, learning about things, able to access information to be able to prove a point, I can dig it. You guys are some of the greatest younger generations. You are some of the greatest at that. No questions asked. And it's nothing I can say about that. I give credit where credit is due. But the one thing that we have, and that I feel that the gap should be filled and the interaction should be better, is for you to be able to soak a game that we got from life. And you're going to understand that as you continue to get older and mature. God blesses you to get older in life. You got to understand there's nothing that can replace life experiences. So I feel as though I got a doctorate degree in life for all the things that I've been through for the number of years that I've been here. And for me, I seen a friend of mine as I've been gone away from where I grew up at for about 35 years now. I can't say a very good friend, but while I was there, we were cool. We talked a lot. We saw each other out. Saw each other out a lot. And she was a pretty cool person. But I come to find out today that she passed. And she's younger than me. I probably got her by 5 years, maybe. And she went through her things in life, of course, like everybody else. But for me, it really hits home when it's someone that I grew up with and that I had hands on with. I mean, who I've danced with at the club or whatever the scenario may be, and kicked it with at the club and talked shit with at the club when I was younger or when I was at home. And now I see them and they're younger than me. For me, I just believe in the natural order of life. And that's why I believe that balance of those four health regions are important. The mental, physical, spiritual, and financial are important because they bring a balance. Because if you're not physically healthy, if you're financially healthy, you have the ability to get physically healthy, right? And if you're not spiritually healthy, you have the mental ability for you to be able to get spiritually healthy because your mind is open and accessible and broad enough and wise enough and intelligent enough to understand that your way of thinking is not the only way of thinking, and it might not be the only right way of thinking. You might feel it's the only right way of thinking, but that's not the case a lot of times either. So that's why you do have to have that open mind and be accepting to other opinions and other views, because again, like they say, it's different when you're standing outside the circle. And the one thing about me is my circle's so small, it's a dime. But I do have associates and I do have friends and I do have people that I have conversations with. And I like honesty. And that's one thing about me. I'm brutally honest. I am brutally honest. But Sheldon TV and Sheldon Radio is here for my tribe, like I said. If you like to kick it, I go across the board. I'm extremely flexible. I'm not closed-minded to anything. I'm always open to conversations. I listen to all kinds of music, from rock to country to R&B to soul to blues to light opera to hip hop. Oh, hip hop, I already know. You already know about the hip hop. I'm a hardcore hip hop head. No questions asked. But I just came in and I just want to have conversations so you guys can get to know me, understand what my creative space is about. Success Architect Network, comprised of SheldonTV.com, SheldonRadio.com. I'm gonna have all different types of shows. Like I said, it's gonna be for lifestyle shows. We're gonna have real conversations, man. I'm gonna holler at some of my OGs, having to come on and let's talk about some of the past, because that past is what dictated and navigated to us where we are right now. It created different types of futures for different types of people. There's a lot of conversations and memories and things that happened back when we were younger that, I would definitely like these youngins to understand and to listen to, because you can pick up some game. You can put some jewels in your box. Listen to some of these OGs out here. And when I mean OGs, they go across the board. They go for sisters and brothers. That goes for women and men. You know, my guys and dolls, my kings and queens. That's what the space is for. The guys and dolls, the kings and queens. And then, of course, I got a space cut out for our youngins. I got a space cut out for our youngins. I actually have a network that is the first and only network that is dedicated to the empowerment of the Black teen. It's called Black Teen TV. And it's going to start a segment here on Sheldon TV. I'm going to bring the culture. Neighborhood PBS and Neighborhood Planet is going to be broadcasting my channel. Right now, it's more about the infrastructure. It's more like whenever you go in and you pour the footer and you pour the foundation for a house. You got to start somewhere. You got to start with the basics. So right now, that's what I'm doing is I'm laying the basics with social therapy with Dr. Brother Suave. I'm pouring the foundation, getting ready to put the footers in, get ready to run the rebar up, and get ready to pour that concrete and be able to start building the walls. Once I get the walls built out and the floor plan is all laid out, then we're going to start doing what we got to do on the inside and start getting to that interior. So there's more programming needed. If you're an intelligent creative, you got ideas. You already got some things going on. I just like to share your content. Just to keep it real. I like to bring you on the show, interview you, let you share your story with everyone. As I continue to build, you continue to build, we just continue to build, and we'll build out. Build us a virtual world. And that's my purpose, is because we do have two existences now. We have the physical world and we have the virtual world, and they're both huge. And we need to cut out our own space, just to keep it simple. And what I mean by that, whatever your interest is, everyone's cutting out their own space, whatever their interest may be, regardless if it's planning, regardless if it's cooking, whatever it may be. That's the good thing about the virtual world, is that you can share whatever it is your interest is and whatever your passion is with others that have the same as yours. So that's important. And like I said, I'm out here on the patio, I'm seeing all kind of things. So you got to excuse the interruptions. But it's just as an impromptu moment, heartfelt moment. And to all my people at home, ain't nothing but love. Hey, y'all come and roll with your boy. Y'all remember. Y'all know me. Oh, it's Sheldon Radio. Speaking of Sheldon Radio, you know, I'm trying to see which direction Sheldon Radio is going to go. I'm definitely going to have music segments and playing some classic soul, because you remember QT Love, WKGC. So soul is definitely a part of what brought me up and helped mold me, along with hip hop, of course, but definitely soul. Soul before hip hop even came along. My house was filled with 8 tracks and 45s, but you had to put the penny on the turntable handle in order for it to stay down and not skip. You know what time it is, for those of you who know. Like I said, my 50-somethings, and that's really the reason I'm here, is because I know us as 50-pluses, that we can have the same conversations because we came up in the same era. If you can't communicate, you really can't understand each other. And I think that's a huge gap as well, is the fact of the communication. So I want to be able to have conversations to communicate with those that I can communicate with, that understand how I'm speaking, what I'm speaking about, and not taking things so personal and so literal. Because of the exposure and the way that society works, and because of the technology and the way the communication works, I feel as though that a lot of 50-pluses is swerving into a different lane, is the best way for me to put it. Let's stay in our lane. Can we talk? Can we have conversations? So again, be on the lookout. I'm building my network, Neighborhood Planet Network, Neighborhood PBS. And I'm starting to build the programming. So the next coming is going to be Sheldon TV. I already got, like I said, Social Therapy with Dr. Brother Suave that's coming on NPNTv. So the next channel to be released is going to be Sheldon TV. Even though Sheldon TV was the first channel to broadcast on NPNTv, I wasn't ready. I just got to keep it real. I wasn't ready because I was so much in the background and really trying to get things on point. And now that we're 2 seasons deep, a full season deep at least, with Dr. Brother Suave, it's an amazing, amazing show. You definitely get empowered by the show whenever you listen from the guest. We got some amazing guests that he's featuring, and you can learn a lot. And more so when I say that is if you just really come and get engaged, a lot of the conversation is relevant. It definitely helps you to tap into things that you never thought of before, and the whys, and then that's a big part, is the why. We sit back and wonder why we are where we are, or why this happened, and why this. If you don't understand how to recognize it, how can you understand how to correct it or build on it, or whatever the scenario may be? And again, that's when it comes down to the mental health of the wealth. Follow me? Again, like I said, 4 pillars of health: mental, physical, spiritual, and financial. And here on NPNTv, I'm going to definitely address both. I mean, all 4 of them. We're already, like I said, we're laying the foundation and starting with the mental health, because it's all about opening your mind for you to understand that we can have some great communication and conversation, so we can start building together and coming together and understanding better and being able to move together, because there's power in numbers. And that's what we're looking to bring here on Neighborhood Planet and Neighborhood PBS, is to bring numbers of like-minded individuals that are progressive, that are forward thinkers, that are humble, that are leaders. That's extremely important. When it comes down to physical health, we're going to share those stories of fitness, those things that affects us the most, as far as how to be able to stay healthy and eat right, to help you with diabetes, high blood pressure, and things of that nature, to help you prevent having strokes and those type of things. That's very important for us. Okay. How to take care of yourself with sickle cell anemia, all of those. I mean, the things that really affect us. Black men with prostate cancer, with colon cancer, those type of things. Those things are important. So we definitely bring in that component as far as physical health. Okay. As far as the spiritual health, we're going to bring those to come in and help you to understand better, for you to be able to navigate your way through things and help you to understand. And that ties back into the mental component of how to love, how to get love back, how to get your place in space of peace and happiness. That's important. That's where that spiritual health comes in. Then financial health, I have plenty of private bankers, consultants, because investment banking is my background. Started back in investment banking back in the late 90s, around 98, and served a stint on Wall Street, working for the second oldest bank on the New York Stock Exchange at the time. So I still have those connections, and I still have those relationships with private bankers who's been licensed in the industry for decades. No problems, no lawsuits, no claims against them. So it's great, and they are licensed and registered bankers. So I used to be a Series 7, Series 66 nationally registered investment advisor. So I'm not talking about things, and I'm not leading on about things that I'm not familiar with, and that I really don't know. And so, again, Success Architect Network. Remember, success is relative. It's all about your perception of success, and your perception and achievement of success is what you believe in yourself, and how far you want to push it, and how far you want to take it. Because at the end of the day, the most important part about being successful, regardless of whatever your quote unquote level of success is overcoming fear. And how do you overcome fear? It's with confidence. Now, the point is, can we help you get that confidence? So we're going to be here. That's what it is. We're going to be here, engaging, enhancing, enlightening, entertaining, of course, but more importantly, empowering. And those are the things that we look to do, and that's the things that we're going to do with all other properties with Neighborhood Planet and Neighborhood PBS, but especially our channels. So NPNTv is the main channel for the network, and all of the other channels are going to be broadcast on NPNTv, since it already has such a huge space and a huge presence online. But get ready for Sheldon TV and Sheldon Radio on Success Architect Network. And that's just my project that I'm building out, Success Architect Network. You can go to Success Architect Network at successarchitect.net, because we do own Success Architect on YouTube. We control it, or that's our property that we control. The best way for me to put it. SheldonTV.com, SheldonRadio.com. You can follow on social media at Watch Sheldon TV, and that's everywhere. And Sheldon Radio everywhere. But on Twitter, it's Sheldon_radio. Everywhere else is Sheldon Radio. So I just had to come in, man. And look, this is the crazy part. I'm drinking coffee. What time is it? At 2:12, and I normally stop drinking coffee at 10:30. I guess it's just a way for me to have something to do while I have conversation to help me to continue to think through without having to interrupt myself, get out my own way. And I just appreciate y'all taking the time out, listening to me. I wasn't planning on being on this long, but I ended up being on this long. But I just had to come and introduce myself and hopefully get an opportunity for you guys to come in and get to know who I am, have conversations with me, and let's build something. I just like to build. I like to create. I'm an intelligent creative. I love to create. And as you get to know me more, you'll get to know more about me and the things that I do and how I do it and what I'm looking to do with my channel, with my channels, Sheldon TV and Sheldon Radio, as well as with Success Architect Network. And on a bigger scale, Neighborhood Planet Network. I appreciate what everyone's doing out there in the indie Black media space. Roland's cut above everybody right now. And I love the corporate competition. I love to see what he's doing. I love his progression that he's having right now, especially he's opened up his studio, and he's doing a lot of major things, man. And it's a blessing to see a brother out there doing that and keeping it as real as possible, I guess you can say. So I do like the fact that he do tell truths, and I think that's important. The African History Network, what's that name? Your brother Imhotep. I love what he's doing. Those brothers are doing some good stuff, man. They're really doing some good stuff. Another brother that I look at is Byron Allen. He's doing some amazing things. He owns Weather Channel, and they just actually did a partnership with CBS where they're providing him with all of their weather. The thing that really impressed me about Byron Allen and Weather Channel is their proprietary software, man. I mean, just read up on that. And we got some things going on, and indie Black media is huge. It's very important for us because there's, and I say this, and I'm closing. I say this because it's been going on for a long time, where you had companies that aren't Black owned that actually comes in and hire those to be able to provide the content and manage operations to patronize our people. But it's not us that's writing. It's not us we produce some stuff. And now we probably are writing more stories now, but we need to curate our culture. We're smart enough to tell our own stories because so many others have told our stories for us. They've projected the imagery that they want the rest of the world to see about us. And that's how a lot of the rest of the world has already had their own idea about who we are. And they've controlled the narrative about us too. So the stories that you see, even the news, there's something as simple as a local news story. You can tell the difference. You definitely get like I was on a software that I use to do some quick minor social media content production. And I looked up something as simple as Black older man. There was, I say out of 50 pictures, there was 2 pictures of a Black older man, and it was the same guy. But everything else was older white guys. And for me, it get to me because I'm a huge pro Black man advocate. I'm huge. I'm a Black man advocate to the end, of course, because I'm a Black man. But if you're cerebral enough to understand what I'm saying, our challenges is a lot different. And that's not an excuse for anything. It's just facts. A black man's challenge is a different challenge than a black American male's challenge. Let me put it that way. A black American male's challenge is different than any man's challenge on the planet, honestly. And if you're not a black American man, you really don't understand. And there are a lot of people who do understand it, not black American men. But if you're not a black American man, you don't understand it. I know there's a lot of successful black men out here, a lot of you brothers, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for setting some certain standards, being ahead, your prosperity, your family structure, if you have a good one. You know, there are black men out here that's doing very well. But I believe that it's still limitations. And I'm not saying limitations from our own perspective or our own pursuits. It's different. And I get a chance to get into those conversations. And like I said, it doesn't make me slight anyone else or judge anyone else. I'm just a truthful person. And my friends range everything. I have all kinds of friends, longtime friends at that. I mean, longtime friends. I'm talking about friends. Oh man. And you got to understand, with me being the only black boy, the only black boy, I'm not the only black kid because it was me and Angelique, but the only black boy in my class from first through sixth grade, 1973. First through sixth grade, I had to have friends in school, of course. And they're some of my oldest friends. And none of them look like me. None of them. Okay. So I understand. Trust me. And I had to understand that young, extremely young. Come on, how old was I? 7? 7 years old? My first 4 teachers were nuns. First, second, third, and fourth grade. When I got to 5th grade, I'm trying to think. Yep. First, second, third, and fourth grade, my teachers were nuns. And I didn't have my first black teacher. Oh no, let me change that. I didn't see my first black teacher until I got with the public school in 7th grade. And that black teacher was a woman teacher, a PE teacher, Miss Smith. She was the first black teacher I saw in school. Can you imagine that? My first black teacher I got was in 11th grade, was it? Mr. Dennis? Was it 10th or 11th? I think it was 11th grade. You got to excuse me because, I have some short-term memory loss from being in the cloud sometimes. But my first black teacher was in 11th grade, okay? So if you don't understand, you just don't understand. That's why, the past movement that we had for justice and equality, it was cool. But what's the word now? Think about it. That wasn't long ago. It's probably been maybe a year. Might be a year. Everything is hush hush. As soon as the pandemic hit, all that shit ceased. Think about it. When the pandemic hit, you didn't hear nothing about that. You still see videos being posted on social media about cops doing this to blacks and this type of thing happening to blacks. But that fight seemed like it just faded away. The fire didn't stay burning, And those are the things I'm talking about. And that's the conversations that I want to have. And it's not so much about the protests and that type of thing. It's about the empowerment, man. It's about moving the entire culture. There's others that I listen to. I love listening to Dame Dash because his mindset, man. I mean, Dame is Dame. I don't know him personally, but I can tell you, looking at some of the interviews and listening to some of his interviews, his mindset is there. And not only that, he went to get good counsel. He's been talking to those minds from the individuals that look like him, that's helping him to understand, which is even further expanding his mind. Because the one thing I love that he said is he want to make everybody rich. Because if your team is rich, how the hell can you lose? Like he said, if he rolled with 10 people, everybody had a meal. He rolled with 10 people, everybody had a meal. That's 10 meal, right? He fall, hit his head. If he needed bread, he can go to all his other brothers and get $100 grand from all of them. he back in the game again, and you ain't feeling it because you got a meal. You give him 100 grand, you ain't feeling that. I love that concept. I love that, and that's my point. I'm trying to build a team where all of us can, because you can't make change without having economics, powerful economics. You got to have money to make change. It's just facts. In this world, you do. You got to have money to make change because you got to change laws. You do have to put some people in your pocket, or you got to put some people in your pocket in order for you to be able to influence sometimes. Facts are facts. Let's not run away from that, but I love Dame's mindset. And there's a few other interviews and things that I've seen from other brothers and things that really inspire me too. But I just thought about Dame right now because I watched about 3 of his interviews in the last few days, and I just started, kind of binge watching some of his things. And some people look at him kind of sideways and try to judge him by the actions that he taken dealing with other situations. But if you're not in that circle and you're not there, you really don't understand. So shut the fuck up. Keep it pushing. Just look at the brother for what he's doing now. Sometimes you got to crawl before you walk. Sometimes it's a learning curve, and you can't be successful out here if you don't be demanding. It's facts. The super humble guy that don't say nothing, that don't speak up, they'll beat you the hell up. And I learned that because I am the most servicing person in the world. I've been servicing since I was a kid, starting when I was in church as a kid. I was in church every Sunday, starting with Sunday school. And I was there to evening service. And then once a month, I had to go to BTU, Baptist Training Union, at 5 o'clock. I didn't have to stay for night service after BTU was over, but I had to go to BTU because my dad wanted me to understand. It's always about understanding and educating yourself and knowing. And that's important. The only way you're going to really know is through experiences. You don't know because you read something. You don't know because you read it. Let's keep it real. And it's when you experience it. And so let me get off that soapbox. Hey, y'all, I just had to come in, have some conversation with you. Again, introduce you to SheldonTV.com, SheldonRadio.com, SuccessArchitect.net, which is the Success Architect Network. And we get ready to start programming. And I appreciate y'all. Stay well. I love you. And ain't shit that you can do about it. Success Architect. IC icon. Stay up.